Hi Jenny, I thought I'd make a video. Now, that Great Pyramid there, okay, it is nothing more, well actually it's a lot more, but you could say it's nothing more than one of these. This great beast of a thing is a loudspeaker, a huge loudspeaker that came out. Now what this thing does, if you turn it upside down, okay, normally we see them like that, don't we? Turn it that way and what you've got is a pyramid, and it's also a power plant. Let me show you. Okay, I've got a slightly lighter one here. Same thing, loudspeaker. There we've got two terminals. Now what we need, you can do this experiment yourself or just watch me do it, that's probably a lot easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put this on the ground, and the next thing you'll need is one of these. This is just a simple multimeter, you know, you just switch it on there, and what this does, it measures voltage. Be 0 volts, where are we? There we go, 0 volts. What we're going to do is connect this to the loudspeaker. So here we have everything we need. Here's the loudspeaker, here's the multimeter. So what we do, you see, we just connect wires to the back of the terminals of the loudspeaker, there we go, and then we connect the end of those wires to our multimeter. And speakers are meant for sound, aren't they? But they can also be used as microphones. Okay, so you see we've got 0 volts there. Now look when I tap it. You see? Power. Power from sound going into the pyramid. Okay. So essentially what we've got here is a power plant inverted like that. And the gold dome on top of the pyramid, that is where the power came out. This is a magnetic speaker. The pyramids work on a slightly different technology, but it's essentially the same type of thing. It's an upside down power plant, okay? And it works by sound coming up here from the earth. Okay, so let's look at the diagram here. I'm just going to draw a quick pyramid. Right, so there on the top is your gold dome. That's your perfect conductor, you see. That's what the electricity is picked up from. Inside, the pyramids are built on a kind of a magnesium-containing limestone, which conducts electricity. But the important thing is that the king's chamber, that little green square there, and those resonant devices above it, that is tuned to 117 hertz. And underneath the pyramid, you see, we've got these devices which they've discovered. They found 8 of them, didn't they, with this like coil structure wrapped around them, which anybody who's ever seen an inductor, that's what it is. It's a resonant inductor. And so this basically is capturing the resonant frequency of the earth, the vibrations and the electromagnetic vibrations, piping them up into this upside down speaker, which we call a pyramid. And the king's chamber is coated in quartz. Now, the wonderful thing about quartz is that when it vibrates, it exudes electricity. It creates electricity. So here you can see this is quartz. I'll just write it in there. That's quartz. So those vibrations make the quartz vibrate, and that is amplified by the resonant frequency of the king's chamber. And the outside is an insulator. This is what they call the Turin limestone, which they get from 500 miles southeast, and it vibrates at 7.83 hertz, you see, which is the frequency coming up from the earth. There we go. And that causes the crystal to create electricity. Nikola Tesla and many people understand this principle. This is the same principle as your the way that your ceramic cartridge works, on exactly the same principle. So you see you have a wire that would come off from the top there, and that pipes your electricity to your city, alternating current. And it's worth noting that all of these frequencies, 7.83, 117, 450,000, 144, etc., are multiples of the number 9. Imagine that sound going up the speaker continuously, indefinitely. As long as the earth spins, there is a thing called the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz or cycles per second. So what is happening here is that sound goes up the pyramid, and it causes this structure. See, the outer layers of the pyramids, they were covered in what is called a Turin, I don't know how you pronounce it, doesn't really matter. It came from 500 miles kind of southwest of the pyramids, and it was a perfect insulator, and it was white, and it's what initially covered the outside of the pyramids. Inside the pyramid there was kind of normal limestone which had magnesium in it, which is kind of conductive to electricity. The outer coat doesn't conduct, the inner coat does. But then in the chambers, what did you have? You had a different kind of stone, and this had silicone dioxide within it. That is quartz. That is another name for quartz. Quartz crystals. Now, quartz crystal has I should be looking into the camera. Quartz crystal has an amazing effect. When you twist it or vibrate it, exudes electricity. So imagine you've got this structure, just like the loudspeaker, this huge pyramid. It's built of it's an insulator on the outside, magnesium conductor on the inside, and in the chambers, crystal. So you've got the sound coming up from the earth via these great big sonorous, springy, resonant things. And anybody who's looked at any kind of inductor, an inductor is basically you've got an iron core, and you have wires wound around it in a spiral form, which is what you see, 8 of them underneath the pyramids. So they are tuned to the resonant frequency of the earth. That pipes the energy up into the pyramid or the loudspeaker, upturned. That causes the whole structure to vibrate. That causes the quartz crystal in the center to vibrate, and that causes the king's chamber to vibrate, and that is tuned by those 4 little things you see at the top of the king's chamber. And then that is connected to that golden dome. Why was it golden? Because gold is a perfect conductor. If you go to Pizza World or Curry's and you say, I want a gold HDMI lead, you pay a lot more. Why? Because gold conducts beautifully. It also looks beautiful. But here's the thing, with that gold thing on the top, obviously we can't see it now, but in bygone eons, the people who built the pyramid, they would have had something attached to that golden peak, a terminal, a piece of wire essentially, or a very large piece of wire I should think, which then came off and powered all of the people who lived around, gave them power, gave them electricity, gave them light, it gave them heat, probably gave them everything, powered their tools, you know. But here's the most amazing thing, the Schumann frequency that they're all tuned to, 7.83 cycles per second. Add 7, 8 and 3 together, and what you get 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. Now what you find is that anything that vibrates on this fundamental kind of frequency of 9, or any number which is divisible by 9, it's like music, you know. If you strike that and then come up here, that is twice that. So that could be 63 cycles per second, and up here you have 126. 1, 2 and 6, 9. And this is where we get this 4-3-2 music from. 4-3-2 music, which of course Bach had all of his organs tuned to that, because we've discovered that it synchronizes with the earth, and it also synchronizes with us, you know, our entire soul. You find the whole vibration of the cosmos is built upon multiples of 9. You can see this, you know, the earth spins on its axis, it goes through 1 degree every 72 years. We are in the Kali Yuga, and all of these yugas from the ancient Hindu religion, again, they're multiples of 9. All the temples in the Bible, including Noah's Ark and the Ark of the Covenant, if you multiply their height by their breadth by their width, guess what? You come to numbers like 36,000, 144,000, 144, 72,000, 36,000, 5,400 and 450,000 cubic cubits for Noah's Ark. So that is the resonant frequency that the pyramids are tuned to, because that is the resonant frequency of the earth. So if you're going to build a huge upside down speaker to capture the resonant frequency of the earth and make that crystal within the chambers vibrate so that it produces electricity, and then you coat it with insulation so the electricity doesn't escape, and it goes up to that golden point at the top, you've got a generator. And it's an infinite generator. It will continue as long as the Earth spins. And we know the Earth has been spinning for billions and billions of years, and hopefully will continue to do so. Okay, so you see that structure is where the ancient people of a bygone era, let's say they were more advanced, and they knew how to build these structures, or they were told how to build these structures by these great sages. If you look into Egyptology, you will find that there were 7 great sages who brought these wisdoms to approximately every 1,000 years. This wisdom is renewed, and this is a theme of all the world's great religions and traditions. That great teachers come from another world, certainly not this planet. Jesus said, I am from above, you are from below. He comes from above. It's another world, it's another dimension. So is God an astronaut? Well, no, but for goodness sake, he's not of this crummy world, that's for sure. Neither was Jesus or Buddha. Buddha was a spiritual giant, one of these great 7 sages who brought this incredible wisdom to a bygone age. And from that wisdom we are given instructions on how to build these incredible structures, which provide us with light and energy continuously. It's astonishing, it's amazing. And that's essentially what the pyramids are. So I'll stop there